Guys, how long are we going to be dragging Tyra Banks? Hey everyone, I'm Roxanne and welcome back to my channel. I hope you like the new look. My son picked out this wig for me. Trust an 8-year-old to always give their unfiltered opinion. Tell the truth, I really like the shape of it, but I wanted more of a fun color like pink or purple or blue. It's 100% human hair though, so I might just take it to a hairdresser and see if they'll dye it for me to the color I want. But I really like the silhouette. It's just the gray is giving Jamaican auntie, which at 44, I guess I am. But you know, I still want some color, so I might just get it dyed. Anyway, so unless you've been living under a rock, you'd know that Netflix just launched a 3-part docuseries called Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model. This is kind of old news by now, but I wanted to give my take on it because I think people are unnecessarily villainizing Tyra Banks, and it's kind of hypocritical. So like I said, I'm 44. I'm an aging millennial. I was born in 81. So I was in my early 20s when the show was on TV. And I remember I loved watching Top Model. I think Tyra Banks was really smart because I think she really got that generation. I was a teenager during the 90s, and the 90s were really the era of the supermodel. Fashion models aren't really celebrated today like they were in the 90s. Like if you were to ask me about who the top supermodels are today, I couldn't tell you. Maybe Gigi Hadid or Kendall Jenner, but I really don't know any household names. But back in the 90s, you had Kate Moss, Naomi Campbell, Tyra Banks, Christy Turlington. Do you guys remember that song by RuPaul, Work? Work. Work it, girl. Where she lists off all the supermodels. Linda, Naomi, Christy.
Linda, word mom, Naomi. She is fit. Christy, waxy lady, out of sight.
Claudia, Nikki. Oh my God, when I was a teenager in high school, I so wanted to be a fashion model. Never mind that I'm only 5'3". And I wasn't alone. All the girls I knew wanted to be models. And we all had eating disorders because at the time it was called the heroin chic look, especially with Kate Moss. I used to buy tons of fashion magazines and just stare at the models because it just looked so glamorous. And then the magazines I used to buy like Elle and Bazaar or Vogue, they all had perfume samples in there too. So I don't know, I just associated the smell with the models and just how beautiful they were. But anyway, so by the time Top Model came out in 2003, Tyra was really resonating with a whole generation of girls who already idolized the supermodels of the 90s. And we all dreamed of being supermodels. So it's like the show allowed you to live vicariously through these girls. But now we're in the 2020s and you've got Gen Z and Gen Alphas watching these old series, but they're looking at it through a different moral lens. And I'm not saying these things are acceptable to do because it was the early 2000s, but I'm just saying that with each generation, there's an improvement of how we view society to make it more inclusive and more equitable. And you can't expect that, let's say, a boomer, when they were a teenager back in the 60s, is going to understand certain moral concepts that are being analyzed and talked about now. And I don't want to say that all the Gen Zs are pretentious and riding on a moral high horse, because we need the views of the younger generation. It's up to you guys to make the world a better place, and I appreciate that. You know, you can't have progress if you don't have social critiques. But at the same time, you're tarring and feathering Tyra when she only had the moral lens that was available to her at the time. Like now there are so many social issues being talked about. Black Lives Matter, trans allyship, body positivity, the war in Gaza. Everybody's talking about these issues, and because these are the issues that are at the forefront of today, people are understanding how to be sensitive around those issues, which is great. But at the time of America's Next Top Model, those same issues and buzzwords and sensitivities that we have now just weren't around back then. And if they weren't being spoken about back then, how can you expect someone who's living in that era at the time to have the same moral perspectives as a 20-something person in the year 2026? You know, back when my dad was growing up, he said people would stop and stare when they saw a woman driver. They'd be like, "Look, a woman driver." because it was so rare. I mean, now people would be like, why would you think women can't drive? I mean, I can guarantee you that boomers are looking at AI videos of some cat playing guitar and they're thinking, wow, I didn't know they could train a cat to do that. You know what the irony is? Someday, the Gen Alphas, when they turn into 20-somethings, they're going to look back at what some of you Gen Zs are doing on social media, and they'll be the ones clutching their pearls and saying, I can't believe they did that. And here's another thing. How many times does Tyra Banks have to apologize for what happened on Top Model? Because this Netflix docuseries is not the first time Tyra addressed this and apologized. She sat down with these YouTube podcasters called Chicks in the Office and talked about all of this 5 years ago.
And so I was like, oh my God, it was like a awakening for me. And I had a talk show, like y'all have y'all show like this. Back in the day, I had a talk show and I did a whole segment on it and said, whoa, as much as I was trying to be woke and say my skin is beautiful and I'm going to paint people like my skin and darker skin and all this and show all these different races, it gives an excuse for people that have malintent. And so we apologize for that. Now, everybody didn't see the damn Tyra show. So 10 years later, you know, during COVID-19, people are quarantined and they're watching Top Model and they're seeing all these mistakes and things that we made. And so I think it is my job to not be mad at a younger generation that didn't see it. It is my job to apologize again.
She apologized then and she apologized now, but it's still not good enough for everybody. It's like they want to see Tyra groveling on the floor, doing the ugly cry, snot coming out of her nose. Tyra's not going to do that, guys. At the end of the day, every person needs to be able to preserve some amount of dignity. So if you're waiting for the snot nose cry, it's not going to happen. I don't agree with everything that happened on the show either, especially that scene where she screamed at Tiffany. And I can tell you what happened with that. It's unfortunate that a lot of women in the Black community think that yelling at someone and verbally abusing them is some form of what they call tough love. And Tyra even said it. She said, when my mother yells at me like this, it's because she loves me.
I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me.
No, it's not, Tyra. I don't say that people can't use a firm talking to sometimes because of dumb choices, but in the Black community, every minute someone's yelling at somebody. This is not love. All it is someone with a short fuse, and people are too quick to become angry. And apparently they edited out a lot of what Tyra said when she was screaming at this poor girl. She verbally abused that girl. There's no way around that.
It was very scary. It was like she went off, and Tyra never went off.
I went too far. You know, I lost it.
There was a lot more that was really said, and some of the things that were said were really not well-intentioned. I will probably never repeat the lines that were actually said in that room that day.
If she loved me, she wouldn't have showed it the way she showed it. If you love someone, you won't humiliate them.
And the explanation she gave was lame. Oh, that was some Black girl stuff I had deep inside. No, girl, it was just verbal abuse. I don't know if Tyra was having a bad day or she was under some stress, but that day was unhinged. Honestly, I think she should meet with Tiffany, even if just in private, and make peace with the girl because she verbally abused and humiliated that girl on national television. The whole world saw Tiffany get verbally abused by this supermodel standing over her like that. But I don't think she needs to make that a public apology. I really think she should reach out to Tiffany. But we know Tiffany also has some explosive anger issues, and she got into it with this YouTuber called Funky Deneva, who said he used to go to high school with her.
Tiffany, you don't even look like you work. You don't even look like you work. And quiet as it's kept, the going price for pussy is $40 a pound. You don't even look like nobody would want to buy none from your crackhead, dusty looking ass. And the sad part is you the same weak ass hoe that you was when we went to school. You always had mouth, could never back it up. And if it wasn't for real, you wouldn't have had shit because your mama, her name Kitty. Kitty couldn't do nothing with you. Kitty ain't have shit. That's why she had to send you around your damn grandma's house for your grandma to take care of you. And your grandma couldn't do shit with you either. You always been dumb. You always been mouthy. You the only bitch from Miami that had the opportunity that somebody did, landed on Top Model twice and still didn't know what to do with it because you're stupid.
But here's the thing with Top Model. You can drag Tyra all you want, but at the end of the day, Tyra Banks was a black woman who was able to make a global brand. Now Top Model has series all over the world. There's Asia's Next Top Model, Australia's Next Top Model, Germany's Next Top Model, Brazil's Next Top Model, and none of the other white supermodels who were quote unquote the standard of beauty, they never did what Tyra was able to do. I think Linda Evangelista even mutilated her body because of some cool sculpting mishap or something. Tyra Banks is the only supermodel from the 90s that's still standing. All those other white supermodels, where are they? Nowhere to be found. It's Tyra who was able to create a global empire and owns 25% of Top Model. The same girl who everybody said she couldn't make it in the fashion industry because her nose is too flat or her lips are too big. She is the one who's the last one standing, and I'm proud of her for that. Also, guys, Top Model became the beast it was because of us, the viewers. We were the ones tuning into UPN every Tuesday night to watch it. Nobody was calling into UPN to complain about any ethical boundaries being broken. No, we all loved the show. We were sat. You wouldn't miss it. We were the ones shutting down Midtown Manhattan trying to get on the show. You saw thousands of girls creating chaos because everybody wanted to be on America's Next Top Model. If the show was so ethically bankrupt, why the hell did you have all those girls shutting down traffic trying to line up to get an audition? And truth be told, if Tyra had played it safe and not done some of the things she did, even with the race swapping thing, none of us would be talking about it today. We wouldn't care less. And I think it's a bit hypocritical for anyone who was from that generation of girls to be saying, oh my God, that's so bad. How could she do that? We fed the beast. And you know what? You Gen Zers might say what you're saying, but Tyra said she's coming out with a Cycle 25, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be sat. Nobody is missing this. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Stop going off on your high horse. Stop expecting people from 20 years ago to have the same moral lens as we do in 2026. That's just not happening. And trust me, Gen Z, you're going to get to a time when your kids are going to turn around and say, oh, Mom, I can't believe you did that. So just watch out, because in the words of JoJo Siwa, karma's a bitch. I should have known better. I'll see you guys on the next one. Laters.